Kahalayim La Alahayinawa Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakah HaKodash. Psalms chapter 85, verse 11. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Once again, Kahalayim La Alahayinawa Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakah HaKodash. All praises to our power, Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakah HaKodash. In the name of Holy Spirit, double honor to our teachers, the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, GMS. Peace and blessing to the elect of Israel. Shalom. Shalom to the elect. Ancient Hebrew inscriptions found along the coast of Uruguay. Ancient Hebrew inscriptions found along the coast of Uruguay, which proves two things ultimately. Firstly, this proves that the so-called white man, the Edomites, did not discover the Americas. You did not, okay? This proves that the so-called white man, the Edomites, did not discover the Americas. That's what this proves firstly. Secondly, this proves that our people today in South America, they have to be the Israelites. Okay? Now hear me out on this through the Spirit. These inscriptions may have been left by the Canaanites, the Phoenicians, which are Canaanites, which actually worked for King Solomon. The Canaanites came over here to gather resources for King Solomon, but they also brought some of our people with them, which only makes sense because how else could our people know how to get to the Americas? When you read in 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, now ultimately, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai guided our people over here. He made a way for them to get over here. But it only makes sense that some of our people came over here to the Americas during the time of King Solomon. Okay, King Solomon had a navy of ships, and along with the navy of Hiram, okay, they came over here to gather resources for King Solomon. More than likely, our people, some of our people, came over here with Hiram to gather some of those resources. It only makes sense. And just as the Canaanites spoke Hebrew, the Israelites also spoke Hebrew. Okay? Now, there's no actual proof that the Canaanites themselves left these inscriptions, but I'm just saying that in case that, they did, because the Canaanites did come over here as well. But just to balance it out, our people spoke Hebrew as well, okay? And there are Hebrew inscriptions all throughout the Americas, and the Canaanites did not leave all those inscriptions. A lot of those inscriptions were left by our people, the Israelites. Now I'm going to read some of this just to make the point. Lord will, this isn't going to be too long. All right. It is going to be a third installment on the Northern Kingdom series, proving that the Northern Kingdom, the Israelites of the Northern Kingdom, are indeed Israelites, okay? Now, it says seafarers from the Levant, the first to set foot in the Americas, which they're speaking about the Canaanites. And some of our people aided them in coming over here. Proto-Sinaitic, which proto, that goes into to first or before. Sinaitic, referring to Sinai. You know, you got Mount Sinai. Basically, ancient Hebrew. Okay? This referring to ancient Hebrew. Inscriptions found along the coast of Uruguay. Now, who's in Uruguay today? The tribe of Asher. Which tribe of Asher are the people from Colombia to Uruguay. Those are Israelites. Those are our people. This is dated July 2014. All right. July 2014. All right. This is old information, but it's still relevant. Okay. Dated July 2014. All right. So what's that? 8 years ago? It's about 8 years ago. An English archaeoastronomer has added a new dimension to the subject of ancient transoceanic contact by the discovery of an extensive network of inscriptional engravings along the eastern coastline of Uruguay, South America. Using the Google Earth remote sensing satellite, William James Vail captured a mass of inscriptions carved into the surface of a 4,700 meter long white crystalline rock formation, possibly rhyolite or syenite, along Uruguay's southern Atlantic coastline. He then set out to determine if the inscriptions could reveal which civilization or civilizations carved these inscriptions, and therefore whom may have been among the first to set foot on this point of the Americas, which, you know, through the Holy Spirit, I told you, and not me, but, you know, you go into the scriptures, you can read it for yourself. All right. Because it's not us telling you this, you know, it's not us here at Great Millstone telling you this. It's the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua telling you this in the scriptures. Okay. Now, I tell you what, since we in this topic, we in this subject right now, let's go to the book of Kings. All right. Because King Solomon had a navy that came over here to gather resources. All right. Now just bear with me, Baba Kasha. Let's see. Where should I start? Which has actually been a while since I had read this, but this got to be the spirit. Call Allah Yahweh Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, man. Now this is in 1 Kings chapter 10. 1 Kings chapter 10, beginning at verse 22. For the king, King Solomon, had at sea a navy of Tarshish. I'm gonna read that again. For the king, King Solomon, had at sea a navy of Tarshish. So he had a navy that would embark from Spain. With the navy of Hiram, once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory, and apes and peacocks. Now, why does it say once in 3 years? Now you go to the Apocrypha. Excuse me, you know, my Bible falling apart. And we use our swords, man. You know, so the cover is off. Because, you know, I use it so much. 2nd Ezra chapter 13. We can begin at verse 39. We read 39 down to 45. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, speaking about Yahushua, he said, other sheep I have which are not of this fold. Yahushua said, other sheep I have which are not of this fold. He was talking about the northern kingdom. All right. Those are the 10 tribes, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king. Now you can read that account in 2 Kings chapter 17. Whom Shalmaneser, which is Shalmaneser the fifth. So whom Shalmaneser the fifth, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land, the land of Assyria. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. So mankind did not live in the Americas before the northern kingdom did. Okay? That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. Right. That's why when they came over to the Americas, this was like a restart for them. This is why you have the country of Canada. That's a corrupted Hebrew word. Canada really is Canaan-da. Canaan referring to Canaan, and Da is the fourth. So the fourth Canaan or the new Canaan. You know, because they was looking at this like the new land of Israel, where they would keep their laws, statutes, and commandments. That's how they were viewing the Americas. Okay. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood, so they were passed over. For through that country, meaning to get to that country, the distance to that country, there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Arsareth, which is Aratazah Acharaf. Aratazah is land, Acharaf another. So another land, which are the Americas. Now, it took them a year and a half to get over here. But keep in mind, we read about how King Solomon had a navy of Tarshish and a navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years, they would come back to the land of Israel, bringing gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. If I'm not mistaken, peacocks goes into turkeys. They will bring back turkeys, which are native to the Americas. Okay. The turkey is native to the Americas. All right. Especially North America. You know, a lot of turkeys up here. But it took the Northern Kingdom a year and a half to get over here to the Americas. But right here it tells you once in 3 years, it took the navy of Tarshish along with the navy of Hiram to come back to the land of Israel, because it took them a year and a half to get over to the Americas, and it took them a year and a half to come back. All right. But just had to get into that, man. Had to show that because, you know, the first people to set foot on the Americas were King Solomon's navy. You know, the navy of Tarshish and the navy of Hiram, which once again, you know, some of our people were among them. It just makes all the sense in the world. How else could our people know how to get over here? Once again, the Lord did show signs for them. He held still the flood, but they knew how to get over here. You know, that's the key point. They knew how to get over here. And you see this coastline of Uruguay. Look at all these ancient Hebrew symbols. Now, we know that the Canaanites wrote and spoke Hebrew, but so did the Israelites, which assisted the navy of Tarshish and the navy of Hiram. Okay? All of us wrote and spoke Hebrew. Okay? Not just the Canaanites. The Israelites did as well. Okay? And we don't got to make this that long because it speaks for itself. All right? Look at all the different ancient Hebrew symbols. Now, everything isn't exact, you know, which this is one of two things. Either the Canaanites wrote this or our people wrote it, you know. I mean, you know, we'll know in the kingdom, but the point is, this is wrote as a memorial, so to speak, showing you ultimately the Edomites did not discover the Americas. Okay. And also those have to be the Israelites down in South America, man, that are still there today in South America. Okay. Once again, the people from Colombia to Uruguay, that's the tribe of Asher. Okay. Now, all right. It says visual examination of the multiplicity of symbols depicted in the satellite photographs suggested a rock engraving technique very similar to Proto-Sinaitic, whereby a series of pecked holes are conjoined by a thin trace to create a particular character. Also, no table, each block of inscriptive material has been deliberately segregated by a boundary line of small rocks. Different racial group visitations at different times, perhaps. Right. So it could have been a situation where, the Canaanites may have done some writing, but also our people did some writing as well. Once again, our people wrote and spoke Hebrew. Okay. So yeah, you could have had the Canaanites writing some of this, but also our people could have wrote some of it. It says different racial group visitations at different times, perhaps. Proto-Sinaitic has allegedly been found in Brazil. So Proto-Sinaitic, which is ancient Hebrew, has allegedly been found in Brazil, which that's also the tribe of Asher. That's also the tribe of Asher in Brazil. Israelites in Brazil, okay, that wrote and spoke Hebrew. All right, ancient Hebrew, Proto-Sinaitic is ancient Hebrew, has allegedly been found in Brazil at Itacoatiara near Manaus and at Curades Belos, Rio Grande do Norte state. A tablet with very similar Proto-Sinaitic ancient Hebrew characters was found at the Deir Allah excavations in Jordan, thus reinforcing and supporting a transoceanic Mediterranean South American connection. But check it out. They're talking about, Proto-Sinaitic characters found in Jordan. Now, who lived, near Jordan? All right, Israelites. Okay, that's the connection. Our people ultimately came over here. You see, that's the connection, man. Plain as day. This is beautiful, man. This is beautiful. Okay. Call halayim la Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for this, man. All right. Once again, call halayim la Alahayin Yahweh Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for this. Which it really all speaks for itself. And they're speaking about the Phoenician writing system, which the Phoenicians, which are Canaanites, did write in the Hebrew, but our people wrote in the Hebrew as well. Okay? And they're speaking about, Egyptian hieroglyphs and, things that really have nothing to do with this right here. Okay? But, Esau Edom, he always wants to figure something out. But you're not going to figure it out, man. And they're talking about the time frame of the languages. I'm going to read this and we're going to cap it off, man, because really we got enough information, We don't got to beat a dead horse. It is what it is, man. Truth is springing out the earth. All right, this information, this archaeology springing out the earth and righteousness looking down from heaven. Those satellites, man. We able to do videos on this information. It's going up on the internet, going up on YouTube, and people can view it in all these different countries on the earth. proving that we're in the end now. Yahweh Shah coming back, man, which is our Messiah, who's a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah. He come back to destroy the kingdom of the Edomites and establish his kingdom on the earth, okay? But going into the timeline or time frame of the languages, it says the hypothetical time frame, Paleo-Hebrew, Samaritan. It says developed from Paleo-Hebrew, Old Hebrew, Phoenician variant, Hyksos, which the Hyksos are Israelites. You know, it says 1750 BC, Aramaic, to name a few. So you see that timeline, and that shows you that that ultimately, you know, Hebrew is the oldest language. You know, Hebrew is the oldest language, man. And the people of ancient Samaria or Sumer, you know, in Babylon, they spoke Hebrew. You know, where Abraham was from, Ur of the Chaldees, you know, they spoke Hebrew there, man. But we should know, ultimately, I want to make sure I'm on point. Really, he continued that legacy of the sons of God. You know, Abraham continued the legacy. Now, you had a lot of our people going off during that time because Abraham's family, they were going off. But he kept that tradition going of our fathers. Okay. And also our language. But, you know, going back to the very beginning, everyone spoke Hebrew in the very beginning. All right. Now it says Aramaic, to name a few. William Vale comments, the character spread tells us that transoceanic visitations took place between the Mediterranean region and Uruguay for at least the 800 years between 1900 BC and 1100 BC. And even after that, because our people dealing with the 10 tribes, they came over to the Americas after 722 BC. You know? But, you know, you had a time of King Solomon, which was before that. The Canaanites and some of our people came over here to gather those resources for King Solomon. So that transoceanic connection that was going around, or that was happening for a while, you know, that was going on for some time. Now it says, and with the expansion of Phoenician seafaring trade, extending this to perhaps 400 BC, we have an active timeline of some 1,500 years trading with South America. But the people that came over here to live were our people. The Canaanites didn't live here in the Americas. Our people lived here. You know, and those Olmec heads, those are not our people. Those are Canaanites. You know, those Olmec heads, those are Hamites. Those are not Israelites, man. Those are pretty much used as landmarks for when those Canaanites were traveling, helping them remember, you know, where to go, where to travel. They would see those different landmarks, those Olmec heads. But our people actually lived here, okay? And they're still here to this day. Now, reading this again, it says, seafaring trade extending this to perhaps 400 BC. We have an active timeline of some 1,500 years trading with South America over 3,500 years ago, which effectively rules out Christopher Columbus discovering the Americas in AD 1492, because he did not. That proves you Edomites are a bunch of damn liars, man. Okay? You're a bunch of liars. But, you know, this is beautiful. And, you know, the most amazing part to me is how you have Hebrew writing all over the Americas. All over the Americas, man. They're speaking about, you know, ancient Hebrew writing found in Brazil. Okay? Ancient Hebrew writing found all throughout the Americas. and also found in Jordan, you know, found in Brazil, found in Jordan. Now, who lived near Jordan? The Israelites. You know, this is beautiful, man. Once again, we know that the Canaanites wrote and spoke Hebrew, but our people wrote and spoke Hebrew as well. You know, before I close this out, just to show a little bit of that, because we prove all things, you know, through the Holy Spirit, man. So what's that? 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Prove all things. This Hebrew writing found in Colorado. Ancient Hebrew writing found in Colorado by the tribe of Gad. This is the Bat Creek stone. Okay? Ancient Hebrew writing found in Bat Creek, Tennessee. All right? Now this either says Quatazah or this is a corrupted way of saying Quadash. All right? And it says La Yahawada, which means to Judah or for Judah. And ultimately, the tribe of Gad knew that, you know, the southern kingdom, in particular the tribe of Judah, are their brothers, you know. Hebrew writing in Colorado, Hebrew writing in Tennessee. Okay, what else we got? Give me a second here. Okay, just, you know, just running through some of the, you know, the information that I have. This Hebrew writing inscriptions, or Hebrew writing symbols, you can find throughout the Americas. Okay, in particular, Mexico and Central America, in particular. You know, by the Aztecs, Azteca, which is tribe of Yashkar or Yashashkar, the tribe of Issachar, and you have the Maya, which are also Issachar, but the Maya are Zebulun as well. Okay, it's Hebrew writing that you can find by them. Okay, which, Lord will, I'm gonna get into this in another date, but you know, the symbols speak for themselves, man. These symbols or signs, they go back to the Hebrew. They speak for themselves. Once again, this was left by the tribe of Issachar and the tribe of Zebulun. You can find this in Mexico and in Central America. Okay? Left by the Maya. And the Maya are Issachar and Zebulun. Okay? Let's see. You can find this in Bolivia and in Peru. Okay. Different signs discovered. Examples of signs discovered in Bolivia and Peru, which is ancient Hebrew. Ancient Hebrew signs discovered in Bolivia and in Peru. Who's in Bolivia and Peru? The tribe we've been speaking about the most in this lesson, the tribe of Asher. You know? Tribe of Asher. One of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? Now it says Inca alphabet resembling the Purgatoire or Picket Wire Canyon in Colorado, which, once again, going back to Hebrew writing found in Colorado. Not too different from what you can find by the tribe of Asher. Okay, and they would call themselves Incas at one point. Which, who knows? I mean, that name Inca may have been put on them by the Spaniards. All right. Nonetheless, you know, the people that were called Incas are Israelites from the tribe of Asher. They wrote and spoke Hebrew. You know, some scholars say that they didn't have a written language. They would use it's some type of thread, you know, some type of thread. You know, they would, you know, use it to count. You know, the quipos, but they would use it to count. All right, but they had a language, man. They had a language. Their language is the Hebrew. Okay. I mean, that's the point, though, you know. And me and the beloved brother Bunyamyan, you know, the brother down here in Mississippi, you know, me and elder brother, excuse me, Jake stuttering and shit. Me and the elder brother Bunyamyan, we were blessed to go to Los Lunas, New Mexico, man. And we saw that 10 Commandment stone for ourselves. All right. You know, we were there. You know, so you really can't tell us nothing, man. And it comes to a point to where it's like, how much proof do you need? So what we believe in is based off of faith. You don't got to believe it. All right. We are Israelites and we are Hebrew Israelites. Okay. And the Northern Kingdom are our people. Okay. And the Lord has given us our language back, man. You know. But yeah, I pray this is edifying. You know. But this is a beautiful, you know, that was a beautiful piece of history when we was able to go here. You know, seeing that 10 Commandment stone. But ultimately, you know, once again, the Lord is waking up his people of the elect. So we can show you information all day, but if you're not of the elect, it doesn't profit you. All right. Ancient Hebrew inscriptions found along the coastline of Uruguay. You know, I pray you're edified. I want to give all praise to our power. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kudash. Double honor to our elder apostles, elder bishops, great millstone. Peace and blessing to the elect. Shalom.